What up, though? Welcome to Kool-Aid and the Murph, episode 1, baby. I am your host, Sean Murphy, aka the Murph, alongside my guy, Kool-Aid, or is it the K Crusader?
Hey, Crusader has
what?
returned.
What the am I looking at right now?
I even have my own memorabilia.
Oh my gosh, you got your merch right next to
I do.
I
have my
I don't
merch.
know if that's your merch or I don't know if that's DC's. I think you might be getting sued, Caden Crusader. There's some lawyers coming
Listen,
for
boy,
your ass, my God.
the buffed up King Crusader.
Yeah, that's
It's
right.
right.
You might be buffed up. DC's lawyered up, my friend. So they'll be coming for you. But dude, it's good to see you, my guy. Oh my gosh, so much
Man,
to
it's
talk
been too
about, dude.
long. It's been too long, brother. But hey, look, I told you. Some things in life you gotta tend to because you gotta get it in control and in order. But bro, doing things with you, it's always in order. And sometimes it's like, hey, get everything else together, and then we'll come together and do what we do.
And you
That's
know what, man? You and I have been just talking for a long time. And, you and I have had this dream and desire of having our own show. And you and I just said, we're doing it.
we're doing it.
F it. We're doing it, man. We're
You know
doing
what?
it ourselves. We're doing it wherever we want, man. And
People,
so,
listen. I'm gonna cut you off, Sean, because this is serious right now. Like,
Mhm.
the just Sean is great at what he does. Just the level of seriousness.
Koolaid, are you really going to say this seriously, wearing that on your face?
I was just about to commend you for seriously going 2 minutes so far, bro. 2 minutes of acting like I don't got this on my face.
I was like, are we about to keep going into this series?
That's what I was about to be like. Hey, bro, you're really sitting here doing a great job, dog. I'm buffed up K Crusader right now. You're just like in peak Sean half court. I'm like, dog.
I was like, let's roll with it. We balling. Let's go.
Bro, I'm like, dog.
Oh my goodness.
You know
man.
what? We'll definitely bring out the K Crusader when we need him to bring justice.
And when we need DC to come at us for lawsuits.
Oh my goodness, man. But brother, I'm glad to be here.
Dude, I'm glad to be here too, man. It's good to see you. Dude, there's a lot to talk about, man. There's a lot to talk about just in the world of Detroit sports, Michigan sports, just everything going on, man. It's a mixed bag at the moment, but dude, we got some good things to talk about, man. I know a lot of people talk about Michigan being this like miserable place sports wise, weather wise, all this stuff, but like, man, like I feel like there's some like positive stuff like Kool-Aid. The Lions don't suck for the first time in a minute.
Yeah, and bro, I know we're gonna get into that. Are they real? What's going on here with that?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're right, man. Our sports teams, it's a little interesting here, man. Even though they're not like at the top of their divisions and whatnot. Would I be DetroitKoolAid if I didn't say this? I believe they're all trending in some positive directions. I mean, even the Tigers getting out from underneath the shadow of Al Avila. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just getting that bastard out of the building is just a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, look, bro, even the state of Michigan, in the rankings, I saw that they were ranked 30th. So, I think we should be a little higher, but hey, look, that's heading in the right direction. I saw before we were like 38th. But look, here's the silver lining. Just like all of our teams, we know they're heading in the right direction because of what they're doing. Well, Michigan is still at least ranked ahead of Ohio, bro.
Well, okay, brother. It's like, yeah, Ohio is the living epitome of hell on earth. You wanna go to a place that's the epitome of a trap? That's Ohio. You go to Ohio for one reason and one reason only. If you just want clinical depression for free. Like that's why you go to Ohio, man. That's all I'm saying.
Oh man, dog. Yeah, I saw the article here. Let me see, man. Via
let me
channel.
guess.
Click on Detroit.
The top state was Massachusetts.
Come on, bro.
All right, that's when you know this article's washed. When number 1 is Massachusetts. You talking about the weather that you're dealing with? Or listen, I get all their Boston teams winning everything. I get I get they have, the Boston Tea Party and museums and, the Naismith Hall of Fame, and they have Jason Tatum and everything, but like, that list is cooked with Massachusetts is at 1.
Bro, Idaho at number 4. Wait, bro, listen. Would you rather eat an Idaho potato or a Michigan Red Delicious? Come on.
L. Oh my gosh, man.
Bro, I'm just sitting here like, come on, dog.
Did they get up there just for the potato?
I don't even know, dog. If it's just for the, I mean, is there anything else they could be up there for?
I mean, no. Really, that's the answer. Listen, I'm just gonna cut it short. Listen,
Like,
I feel like, in all seriousness, I feel like a lot of people that like put Michigan pretty low in these rankings haven't gone to Michigan. Like, especially like I get like the 6 months in the winter. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It could be bad, right? Like there are definitely times in like the midst of January and February where it's like I haven't seen the sun in weeks. I forget that it existed. Especially for myself, Kool-Aid, you don't have this problem, but I look like Casper the Friendly Ghost because I get pale as hell. But like during the summer, living on the lake, like going by the lake, Lake
It's
Michigan.
no place better.
Yeah, man.
There's no place. Hey, I'm telling you, bro. Look, I remember as a young kid, man, my dad was like, "Look, there are parts of Michigan that our kind just haven't been to before, son. I gotta take you." He took me all around the coast, man. I'm just being for real. I'm being so for real. I would talk with my friends like, "Hey, man, have y'all been to Mackinac Island?" They're like, "What? Have you been here? Have you been there?" Hey, look, man, for real, man. Our people didn't really get outside of Detroit too much, and at least from my perspective, man, it's a beautiful state. It's a beautiful state. Now you go, people are traveling, getting around, and I'm looking on here in the article, man. Shout out to Ken Haddad. I just want to make sure I give him his credit. He said they created some wild weighted systems to assign values to points and blah blah blah. You get it, but sure, the Great Lakes are not nearly as cool as potatoes. That adds up.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't get it, man. Like you said, summer in Michigan. We see these rankings when they start ranking like the best summer vacation spots and hidden destinations and cities to live in. Michigan cities tend to show up at the tops of those lists, if not the tops, more than often. So,
100%. Well, the other thing, we're on the way up, man. We're on the way up as a state. Detroit's on its way up as a city, and at least we're better than Ohio in every way, fashion, and form. So that's really all that matters, bro. We finish on top of Ohio yet again.
Yet again. And isn't that what the purpose to life is?
The meaning of life is just kicking Ohio's ass.
Yeah. Could you imagine if like Michigan, the state of Michigan, was literally under Ohio on the map?
It hurt me that you even brought that up.
Well, I'm grateful. I'm glad that we actually don't have to live in a world where that is reality.
Oh my goodness, same here, man. I'm just glad I don't have to live in Ohio. My God,
bro, man, oh man. I think we'd be remiss. I was looking here, man. Where should we go here? I feel like we should go to Pistons first, but
I feel like we gotta. I feel like we would be remiss if we didn't, because a lot of people know us for our Pistons stuff. I feel like we start with the familiar and then we work our way around. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, let's do it. Before we get into it, again, tell the people what Kool-Aid and Murph is all about. And let's
absolutely. Kool-Aid and Murph, where each and every week we're going to be talking and bringing all the takes that we have, all things in the sports world, but just in the world in general, man. This is just a show where Kool-Aid and I just want to get together and talk about anything and everything. So if you like that, be sure that you like this video. Be sure that you go over to the Kool-Aid and the Murph channel and subscribe over there as well. Show some love over there, but also be sure you follow us on social media as well and tell the people you want to see more Kool-Aid and the Murph.
Hey, I like that, brother. I like that. But look, Pistons season has not started off the way that many of us expected.
It's been a cluster.
Yeah. I mean, just put it plainly. Just put it plainly. I think that's about the nicest way you could put it.
I would say Murphy's Law whatever can go wrong will go wrong has been the epitome of this season, man. Just injuries on injuries on injuries.
Yep. And you know what? It could be worse. It could be injuries and Killian Hayes is still playing bad. It could be injuries and Isaiah Stewart is not developing the outside shooting. It could be injuries and Hamidou Diallo is not playing with energy, looks lost in his role. But that's not the case. It's really injuries.
Right.
Injuries and fits. This team
is remind people, Koolaid.
Yeah.
It's not like, for me, obviously, I'm here at home. I do a lot of my observations and writing from what I see and from what I read and from all the observations I make. Remind me, Koolaid, where are you at home games?
Oh, hey, bro, right in the media section, brother.
Oh, so you're there in person.
In person.
Remind me, where are you during press conferences?
Sitting right there in the building, buddy.
Oh, not just in the building, but in the media room, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Get to have those real conversations with the players, with the coaches. It's different when we kind of, as fans, grow up looking at the press conferences versus being in that room every single day, looking these people in the faces, and they're calling you by name when you're ready to ask your questions, and you're having a continuation of a conversation that you had from the previous game with them. And for me, being at the home games, it gets even I don't know, man, even more important to make sure you're representing yourself, your organization, and your work the right way. Otherwise, it's not really the best of looks, but being able to have the privilege of being in there, to be able to enhance everything that we're doing, it's been an awesome time.
Yeah, but also to have the perspective and to see like the work that they're putting in each and every day, and to see that the belief that they have in the system and the culture. I mean, like the biggest thing that you want to see, like especially during this type of season, like when you're going through the trials and tribulations of everything that the Pistons are facing, is the team still invested? Is the effort still there? Are they still making progress during the season? And are they still listening to the coaching staff? And I feel like there hasn't been any signs of wavering from the players from listening to Coach Casey's message or what they're doing in Detroit. It seems like there's still a pretty consistent belief in what they have going on there.
And I'm glad that you know me, bro. I wasn't even gonna really say anything about the, shout out Woodward Sports and Woodward Pistons. Credential for the season. Our coverage is credentialed, I like to say, even though I get to go there and represent. Our team, Sean, Jeff, and others have shout out Jeff Iafredi from Half Court, Woodward Pistons, Morning Woodward Show. We've been invited out by the Pistons to attend these games because of the coverage that we do. So it's really our whole team. And in time, you'll be out there too.
Yeah, but it gives credence though, man, to the fact that it gives credence to the fact that we're not just saying it because we're just taking wild guesses. You're in the building.
Yeah. And that's what I was gonna say is that to add on to that, I am glad you brought it up, because when you're sitting there, that's the reason why I brought up seeing these people game after game and creating this relationship, because they want to know who they're talking to, they want to know who's chronicling them, they want to know who's covering them. You see it differently. You see these guys coming in limping to the press table. You can see them kind of coming to you before they know that you can actually see them. You see the grimaces. You see these guys kind of pissed at the games. You see them sit down and bang their hand on the table and all that stuff. We don't see that when we're just watching on Valley Sports, because they cut in on footage that's already been recorded. Yeah, we're not looking at the live stuff. I've realized that. I'm like, wow, it's so different down here. You see these guys when they step aside to do their individual stuff. It sucks, man, especially after losses, man. And you could feel it. Listening to Casey, he's not a broken record. He's somebody who continues to say, we're here to teach these guys. We're teaching. And it can sound like a broken record unless it's education. There's a lot of young guys on this team that are trying to learn a lot. And so the main thing that I get when I'm sitting in those press conferences, when I'm down on the court, when they're warming up, I'm down there just right underneath the rim, looking at them, just seeing it in their face, listen to the chatter. These guys are trying to be the best they can be. They really believe that they're next up. They really believe, I know our question for this topic was, is the restoration, on or off the tracks? These guys believe that they are on the tracks, but that it's a process and that they're going to get there. That's what they believe. And that's the most encouraging thing. And I know that a lot of times when we speak, a lot of people might not understand our perspective. Like, I know you're saying that, I'm down there and everything, but you've been there too. You were saying we got the pictures, man. You're down there too. You're sitting right there at the front, and it's not for the perspective of even trying to be there as a fan, but it's realistically from the perspective of trying to make sense of what we're seeing on the court. All of us believe this team was going to be somewhere, and now we're sitting here with the team slightly underperforming at a better pace than last year. But I see these guys. They want to win, man. They want to get this right for the city of Detroit.
But I think it starts and ends Kool-Aid with the fact that this team, as much talent as there is, as improved, as they are, as much as we're heading in the right direction, this season was going to always predicate on what number 2 was going to do and where he was going to take us. And so with him being
people in the back, bro.
Yeah, and with him being with him being in the sidelines, with him, potentially probably missing the rest of the season, which, by the way, if it were my decision, I think Cade should miss the rest of the season. I think, if we're looking at it from that perspective, it wasn't more glaring to me than the other night against Memphis with John Morant and the Grizzlies, with how well-oiled a machine they are, how many great role players and how much talent they have. But what really makes that wheel go round is John Morant. When he was off the court, that was a completely different team. The Pistons were able to get right back into it. The second he stepped right back on the court, it wasn't even a competition. Detroit didn't even have a chance. With Cade, that was, to me, the presence of Cade Cunningham didn't look more sorely missed or more apparently gone than when they were playing John Morant and the Grizzlies.
Yeah. And honestly, bro, that's the article I'm writing today. It's not necessarily. It's kind of like that, brother, and that's why I was smirking, because when I was sitting there watching this game, the game day clip that I used in the game day post for Woodward Pistons and everything on the socials, just to get people hyped. It was clips of Cade Cunningham playing Memphis in the preseason, and you know what I saw? Something that the Pistons did not have at all in that last game against Memphis, and that was just somebody who could go out there and do work. Bro, there was nothing Memphis could do. The clips that I posted were 2 mid-ranges and a 3-pointer from Cade. And this was in like the third quarter. I remember that preseason game, because he was just, people like, oh, what's Cade doing in the first half? People were just complaining. And this is when I would call in my anchor translator to talk about all the different weird things that these people were doing. And then in the third quarter, we kept saying, man, chill out, people. I think we did a halftime report at that game, and then he just came out crushing. Mid-range shot. The second time he came down, right after that, the defender stepped up on Cade, blah, 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 mid-range shot again, and won this time. Then it came down, blah, 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 3-point shot, because the guy was like, I don't know what to do with him. There's nobody on our team who can do that.
Right.
Jaden Ivey has some great athleticism and speed that allows him to get there, but sometimes he can be a little bit ahead of himself. Killian Hayes is showing that, he has a little bit of wiggle, but his scoring is not to the level of where it needs to be as effective as Cade. Like, we have nobody on this squad like that. Not even Bojan. There's his inconsistencies. He'll be up and then just be down.
Bojan's the only guy that on a consistent basis is at least going to give you double-digit points. There's only been one game this season that Bojan scored in single digits. So he's going to at least give you that. But the truth of the matter is, Kool-Aid, you and I know this, to win in this league, you need guys to consistently contribute each and every night. And that's why it's so important and imperative to have that star and that franchise player there, because you need someone to consistently at least give you in this league, 20 plus points a game, to go out and get you a win. And then you need other guys to go out and contribute it as well. And when you have a young roster like Detroit does, guys can't go out and do that each and every night. And so guys like Jaden Ivey, it's hard to rely on him to go out and get, 17 plus points when, he's gonna make as many mistakes as he is. I mean, he's a young guard. As great as he's looked, there's times that, to your point, the shot selection is a little suspect at times. The turnovers are there, but you know why that is? He's a rookie.
There you go. Hey, bro, and we've written these articles. Yep. I've written one on Woodward Sports about what is the restoration supposed to look like, and this is it. This is what we asked for. With the Pistons, this is specifically what we asked for. We've asked for years, tear this thing down to the studs. Let us support a team full of young players. Now, I will level with some people when they state they just want to see the young players. That's where people are kind of getting hemmed up. They believe that Casey is not just letting them go. We can get into that next, but as it relates to the foundation, this is what we've asked for. This is what we're in for. And if they believe they have the right set of players, you got to educate those guys. Like you said, if Jaden Ivey is a rookie, give him the opportunity to come in here and learn, especially if we're talking about making him an essential part of our core. Me personally, I think he has the potential and the talent to be not not a Robin to K Crusader, but Superman. That's what I see. I see like a legitimate 1A, 1B type of situation here. And for that, you want Jaden Ivey to get all of the maturation he can get before this team is supposed to be in position to really make a run. That means that the guys that are here right now are supposed to be the proverbial vets on the team when they're supposed to be ready to win in, say, a couple years or so.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like one of those things where, I listen, talking about letting young guys go, letting them do their thing. I think I think Coach Casey's doing that literally as much as he can right now, but at a certain point there's also the balance of you also need old guys out there at a certain point to help bring the reins down and help control things, right? So, I think listen, I think as the season goes on, people are going to get their wish, but at the same time, they also are going to have to expect some of those ugly losses that come with that leash as well. So,
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see how it goes. But man, for the last little bit, for what we got going on, dude, I want to talk some Lions, bro, because it's been surprising. I'm not gonna lie to you, Kool-Aid. I'm not used in November and December time having the Lions win 4 out of 5 games. And also that one loss being a competitive loss to a Super Bowl contender that came down to a all-time great throw by Josh Allen to put the dagger in the game. That's what it took to beat this Lions team.
Yeah, bro. They're biting kneecaps.
Yeah, man.
Straight up.
They've kept that mentality that Dan Campbell's brought since day one. And even though and we talk about what we just said with Detroit, like with the Pistons, even though people the confidence of the public might be wavering, the confidence of that locker room seemed to never waver. And that's a huge thing, man.
Yeah, we've seen other coaches come in here in the past, other regimes, Matt Patricia and others who've come in here and tried to push narratives on their players, tried to push, different traditions on their players, and it never really stuck or resonated, especially when the losses came. But with Dan Campbell, to your point, this team has continued to listen to his voice. It was almost like no matter the noise, listen to the sound of my voice. And that players moved those players, they have moved as he's moved, bro. Yeah. Straight up. And that's been an awesome thing to see because he said it. He said, that's what the kneecap thing was about. You may knock us down. We may not even get all the way back up, but we're going to get up a little bit. And on the way up, we're going to take out a kneecap, and then we're going to this and we're going to that. That's the mentality he had because I think they accepted this is a rebuild. It's going to be some ugly days here, but it's going to be some tough days. We're going to go out there every single game and fight, man. And that's what I love about the Lions right now. And I believe it's paying off because they're not the most talented team. They're just a team who said they're going to continue to fight. And at this stage of the season, that stuff resonates more, especially when it's a battle of attrition.
I'm so glad you said that, dude, because literally where I was about to go with it next, you know what I love about this team is that it's not a lot of high draft pick guys. Obviously there's, Jared Goff, who's a number 1 overall pick. There was, there's Aiden Hutchinson, who's a number 2 pick. There's Jamison Williams, who just debuted, but even then he only had he only had one pass thrown his way. It's so many guys that are mid to late, draft picks, like James Houston, a 6th round pick going out there getting 3 sacks in his, first 2 games, just like Aiden Hutchinson, getting guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown in the 4th round, Malcolm Rodriguez in the 6th round, Kirby Jones. How many different players do we have that are starting caliber players that are late picks in the draft? Brad Holmes is an absolute assassin on the draft board.
Can we give him a golf clap really quick? Definitely. He has to get the Kool-Aid, Murph. Golf clap of approval, man. Like, for real, like, I don't know what to really say.
And speaking of the golf clap, how about the golf clap? That man's been going off.
Bro,
except the worst throw I've ever seen, by the way, during his at the end of that Bills game when he made that pass down the field. That was one of the worst throws I've ever seen in my entire life.
I was just saying for a second, like then it actually was like, you know what he's talking about, bro. It was like, oh yeah, no, that was a bad one. That was a bad one. Just to talk about Jared Goff real quick. Ben Johnson said, I've got total trust. Jared Goff can make pretty much every throw in the league that we'd ever ask him to do. And at first I thought, is this a joke? Because they only ask him to do checkdowns. But lately, man, during this run, I've seen Goff make some throws that I thought I saw him make when he was with the Rams, that I just kind of disappeared towards the end of his Rams tenure, man. So, shout out to Goff. We're going to have a whole breakdown on him in our part 2. To the Koolaid and the Murph. But I don't know, man. Brad Holmes he's an interesting character, but what it speaks to is giving rebuilds with the right GMs the time to mature. They're not moving at your pace, they're not moving at my pace, they're not moving at your pace, and they're moving at their own pace based on what they see. And they know this is going to be a down draft. We got to get what we got to get, or this is going to be an up draft. We're going to make sure we go out there and get our star players. And those guys ride those waves, and they will augment their teams with the right free agent or trade, acquisitions. They just will. These guys, Brad Holmes and Troy Weaver are two guys to just trust whatever they're doing, even when it doesn't look the best. That's just my opinion, man.
Well, and that's why you don't judge trades by day one. That's why you don't, judge draft picks day one. You have to let these processes play out and see where they lie, because, everyone was upset last year when the Rams are making their playoff run. What about that 32nd pick? It's going to be bad for us.
Everybody, bro.
Turn it to Jameson Williams. This year, everyone coming in going, oh boy, the Lions are sliding. Everything's looking bad. The Lions are rising the playoff standings. Oh boy, they're going to lose their high draft pick. The Rams are going to get us a top 5 pick in this draft because of how bad they've been. So the future's bright.
Sean preaching, y'all. He's preaching right now. And you know what? It's different because with the Pistons, being on the beat, it's more about the reporting of it all. With the Lions, I've noticed my fandom go to a whole different level, as I've had to have the Pistons fandom go a little bit down. I still got my representation now.
Hey,
I got
go.
Oh yeah.
Gotta have the banner poster, dude.
But I've tried to be objective. I've tried to be someone who can look at the game differently. So with the Lions, though, it's been like, this has been awesome. Because I was kind of checked out for a few years, and you still watch, but
Well, you know what the big thing is for me too? For the first time in a long time, it feels like this is a team that's built in embodying the city, embodying the city of Detroit. You know what I mean?
From the top down. Yeah. We've had
like
players in the past that have embodied that, but coaches, staffs, and all that, certain other players, I agree with you, bro.
Like, has Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia ever made you think Detroit? They quite literally, their entire thought process from day one was New England Midwest. It was never
values,
Detroit.
Bro. It's not our values. It's not what we do here.
Yeah.
And, the players.
If there's anything you got to learn today, Massachusetts. Bring it right back around.
Oh boy.
Screw Massachusetts.
This will be a reoccurring event.
The Kool-Aid and the Murph pod has officially has beef with the entire state of Massachusetts. We're going
and
to
Ohio. And Ohio, bro.
Yeah, Ohio and Massachusetts, we got beef.
Yep. Toronto's on my watch list. I know they're not in America.
Yeah, but we're
the United States of America.
We're throwing feelers out with Toronto. We're seeing how we feel about them. Oh my gosh. Well, ladies and gentlemen, That was episode 1 of Kool-Aid and the Murph. Believe me, man, this is just the beginning. This is just a small taste of what we got coming. If you like this, be sure you like this video. Be sure you go over and subscribe to the Kool-Aid and the Murph YouTube, and you be sure you go follow us on social media as well. We're going to be bringing more episodes, more takes, talking all things Detroit sports, the world of entertainment, whatever you name it, because me and Kool-Aid just want to bring it and talk it. But with that, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. My guy Kool-Aid is crazy as and we'll catch you guys next time from Kool-Aid and the Murph. See ya.